Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rebecca and Rebecca. My name is Rebecca Yager, coming to you from Dallas, Texas, and my partner over there is Rebecca Reed in Indiana. Hey Rebecca.
Hey, how are you this morning?
Doing okay. Yes, it's morning. Okay, I got it.
It's
It's
morning.
morning. Now, this is happy goofy, or we have not awake goofy. I think we're happy
Oh,
today. We're happy because we're talking about books, and of course, we love books. It's
yes.
our favorite thing, and you're getting ready to go back to school. It's, August, getting
Yeah,
ready
we
to
don't want to talk
go.
about that.
So we're gonna
Yeah,
get
well,
through our long hot summer here.
yeah, it's okay. It's always the anticipation of a thing that makes it worse than the actuality. That's my mantra lately. I've been saying that a lot.
Okay. Sometimes the anticipation is the worst or the best. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on what it is you're anticipating, I suppose. If you're anticipating like going on a vacation, then that would be, but anticipating going back to school where I have a set schedule and have certain things that are like people come up and ask me to do the most ridiculous things sometimes. Like, really? That part I don't care for so much. But once you get into the routine of it, it's fine. And it goes really fast, just like the summer. And
Yeah.
then you have summer again. So I always tell the kids, you cannot be done until you start. So,
Great phrase. Gosh, you're a good teacher. Thanks. Teaching things for us today. Okay.
yeah.
Well, why don't we share about our latest book here? We read Finally Forever by Karin Beery, and it's a contemporary romance. And let me read the blurb so we can set it up for everyone, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Finally Forever. Former competitive dancer Caroline Novak dreams of leaving the corporate world to work with special needs women at the Pathways nonprofit, but the organization can't afford a full-time director. All-American defensive end Ben Allen was on his way to the NFL when a knee injury sent him home and into the same office as Caroline, his best friend's older sister. When Pathways participates in a Dancing with the Stars inspired fundraiser, Caroline quickly volunteers and Ben joins her as the local star. It doesn't take long for Ben to realize it's more than a dance competition, and Caroline is more than his best friend's sister. But after two failed engagements, she's hesitant to trust her heart with another man. When the NFL calls Ben, I lost my page, sorry. When the NFL calls Ben, it looks like his dream might finally come true, but it could cost them the championship and Caroline her heart. There we go.
All right. Well, I'll kind of start out, I guess. I want to say that first of all, there wasn't an audio, so I was forced to read, which is, no.
You do remember how to read, right? The books.
Do. Yeah, I do. I was gonna say it pulled me in right from the beginning. I felt like um one of the hardest things for me as a writer is getting the external conflict correct
Mm,
and having enough of it. And I thought Karen did a fantastic job because she set this story up with this pathways house, which is um, helps developmentally challenged women who they're capable of living on their own, but not completely on their own. So they
mm,
live together in this house. They have a director who lives there, who helps them with life skills. They learn, they're cooking, they're doing things they enjoy. They're independent, but not
mhm,
like left to themselves. And it's a fantastic idea. It's a
mhm,
great thing. We have a life skills class at our high school as well. And I see the potential that these people have as long as they're trained and supervised, they can do so much. And
mhm,
it was great to like read about something like that, I thought. But the way she sets this up, this house needs help. Obviously, charities need
mhm,
funding because that's how they survive. So she sets up this fundraiser with the Dancing with the Stars
mhm.
style thing. It's been
Right,
going on for years, but charities have to apply each year to be part of it, and this year Pathways was chosen.
right.
That's how enter Caroline, who is a former champion ballroom dancer. which I thought also was cool because you don't
Yeah.
read about that very often. It's a really interesting, twist to the heroine, and she becomes their star, right? So she's their star, but they have to find a local someone to dance with her, and of course, the bigger the name, the more the money they're likely to draw in,
Right.
and so that's what they're looking for, and that's where Ben comes in.
Enter Ben Allen, former NFL star and local hero.
Yeah, because he went to high school in this town, this is his hometown, he's back. This would be hard too, living with his parents and his
Yes.
younger sister, so, I'm sure some of us can relate to having to move back in with parents, after college when we thought we were gonna be out on our own, and this is what Ben is dealing with. He went from being, like, way up on the mountaintop to falling down in the valley because his dream had always been football. Football was his thing, he
That's
chose
all he
it
knew. That's all
over
he knew.
baseball. He loved sports in general, but football was his thing.
Mhm.
He was, recruited, he very highly, and just had this whole world ahead of him. Like, people were always clamoring for his photo or his autograph and wanting to see him and be near him and all that. Well, now he has nothing. He works at an insurance company, which is where Caroline works too. But their paths to getting there are quite different. I mean,
Yeah.
his is falling from this injury, and having to just needing to earn money. He didn't have
Mhm.
money. Um,
Mhm.
and so he needed a job. And so he comes in there and they don't even know where to put him. That's what else I liked about the story was like they hire this guy who has a accounting minor or something
Mhm.
for this insurance company, and they don't really know where to put him because he doesn't actually have skills that fit exactly.
Yeah, because he said
Um,
football. You know?
yeah, so that was fun, but Caroline comes to this job. She's been there a while. She's she's moved up through the ranks, she's done lots of different things, she knows all the
Yeah.
departments,
Well, she's
she's
the trainer, the mentor to the new
yeah,
employees,
she's
like
she's, like, in charge of the mentors, but
mhm.
then the boss says, "Hey, we want you personally to mentor this new person." Guess what?
It's Ben.
It's Ben.
But who she knows
She
because of
knows Ben. Yeah.
yeah, because of her sister and Ben were the same age and
Yeah, they were really close friends, which is another issue because she's older than Ben.
mhm. Mhm.
Um, and basically, I think they want her to mentor him because she's not gonna be starstruck by him and goo-gawing all over and, all fangirling and all that stuff. So,
Because she knew
which
him.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, the conflict though comes in, with the need to earn money for this house. This is her dream, Caroline's dream, to work for this house with these women to do charity work. She has always wanted to do charity work. She got the job at the insurance company as a beginning job, right? But she never
Yeah.
pursued her dream, and she settled for this insurance job and has been there for a long time, and she's really settled. And now she's dreaming about this new job, but she doesn't do anything about it except
She
volunteer.
she doesn't voice her dream, and that's what I found.
Never
She never shares it out loud
right.
what she wants. And if you look at Ben coming in and he's having to settle for the insurance company, he's got to make money, he's back in with mom and dad. He's got all these desires and he's not voicing much either. He's just trying to accept his lot in life at the moment. So you've got two people who are kind of not where they want to be.
Yes,
So
absolutely not where they wanna be. But the difference is that I feel like at some point, Ben decides to go for his dream and all of his dream, not just part of it. Like when he figures out what he wants, he does take steps
mm,
then
mm,
to go for it.
mm,
Whereas Caroline sees what she wants and basically runs away from it. And
mm.
that's
Interesting.
the difference in the way they react to this opportunity, in my opinion. And it takes quite a lot for Caroline to come around and decide that she is going to pursue her dream and, not just let it slip through her fingers again, because that's what happened when she settled, before.
Right.
That's really Caroline's character change, is when she decides to pursue. And it does come, and you mentioned this, we were chatting earlier, it comes kind of late in the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you had, the problem you had with the ending a little bit.
Okay, I was saying I think overall we loved the book, and we're going to talk about side characters, our favorite thing too. But to me, I felt the ending was a bit rushed. I wish she could have gone a little deeper into what Caroline was doing and feeling more, because she kind of has this crisis moment
Mhm.
and is just getting through things. We see part of it from Ben's point of view, which is interesting to have someone else observe Caroline and not understand what's going on, because it's a
Mhm.
surprise to Ben and a surprise to the reader. Um, how
Yeah.
Caroline comes out of this, but it felt just a teeny bit rushed, did not ruin the story at all, but teeny bit
Yeah.
rushed, or because I wanted to be a little
Well,
bit more in Caroline's head, maybe.
yeah, I think it's because, to me, like, as a writer, I think about it, the arc of her arc,
Mm-hmm.
um, we miss out a little bit. We see a little bit of, like, the dark moment for her,
Mm-hmm.
um, but then we miss the effect. Like, we don't see the effect, and that might be what it is that you're missing. Because we
Mm-hmm.
really don't see the effect of the black moment on her as much. We see mostly Ben's reactions.
To her action, she's reacting to her
Right,
moment, but
but not
it's
like her. We see a little bit of it here and there, but it doesn't really, like, I just don't think we don't see it in the way that we think we want to, a little bit. I
mm-hmm.
think that, and then it puts that decision, that turn when she decides to go for it, it's all kind of back behind the scenes, and we don't see it until we see the results of it, and that might be what we're like, why it just is a little bit different. It didn't hurt my enjoyment of the story at
No,
all.
didn't hurt. No,
I loved the
yeah,
story, I thought it was really good, and I really just enjoyed the way the conflict played out through
yes,
it. I thought she had an excellent setup on this with these women, and they played, and like you said, we're gonna talk, they played some
like the side
really
characters, yeah.
fun. They made this story so much fun, and also kind of enlightening in a social justice sort of way.
Yeah. The women of pathways and their reaction to Ben is just, it's sweet and it's fun and it's, you know, and makes you want to go, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go volunteer down there." It sounds
Yeah.
great. So it really does warm your heart there. My other favorite side character has to be Ben's little sister. Can't
Oh,
not do this
yes.
and not talk about Annabelle.
She almost stole it, as a matter
She
of
just did.
yeah,
She is quite the precocious, what, she's 12, I think. So she's about 10 years younger than Ben.
yeah.
And but she's something else. I really liked um Annabelle a lot. And kids speak truth. And she's like, what's wrong with you two?
Yeah, yeah, and yet she's a very, as much as she wants to be, like, out there pushing, she also has been taught, manners, and she
Mhm.
knows when she's overstepping and things like that,
Mhm.
and she also, her solution is, like, the best for everything. It's like, "Let's go get ice cream." I mean, how you can't miss that is the perfect solution, right? "Let's go get ice cream or eat Thai food."
Or
I
eat Thai
mean,
food, yeah.
yeah. So, I thought that was awesome, but yeah, I she almost stole the show
She
there for
almost
a
did.
while.
I
I think, I'll bet when we talked, it'll be interesting when we talk to Karen to see how much she had to rein that character in, because I'll
probably
bet she
let's see Annabelle grown up, and I want to see how
oh,
she
I
turns
know.
out. Let's write a story about Annabelle
Yeah.
in 10 years. This may be kind of an odd thing to say, but I really liked that Caroline's parents and her sister and Ben's parents are part of the story because sometimes in these love stories, and especially if you're a Hallmark fan or whatever, there's never parents around. There is sometimes, but I like that there's family in
They
here.
aren't
There's
dead.
family involved.
We
Yeah.
read a lot of suspense where the parents are all dead, you know?
That's
They've all
right.
been killed in tragic
Or they're
ways.
or they're gone, or
Yeah,
there's one left, or
right.
That's true. There were parents in this story, but I liked that because it added just to this whole feel of the town and what they're
Mhm.
all about and the families and why Ben and Caroline are, how they've been raised.
And the setting was really not was cool too
Mhm.
because we don't read a lot of stories set in Northern Michigan, and this was
Mhm.
set in Northern Michigan, and so
Yeah.
we got a lot of really interesting, tidbits, about Michigan and what it was
Mhm.
like there and stuff, so that was cool. I mean, not that there aren't a lot of stories, I guess, written in Michigan, it's just I guess I haven't read a lot of stories written in Michigan, so it's
Written in
probably
Michigan.
on me, not so much on the fact that they don't exist.
Right.
So,
No, they exist. They
yeah.
exist. So, um, the story overall, like the dance competition stuff and the rehearsals and what it takes, and people think it's so easy. It's not.
Yes.
But that's how the
Yeah.
attraction came. What you had a brainstorm, I see it.
I liked the dance partner, I can't remember his name.
Tony,
Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony, was a good side character too, because
Mm,
he provided kind of a foil, I think, for some of the things, Ben was a little jealous of him and at first, and there was some but Tony turns out to be, he's really ends up being very, um, like a solid kind of anchor
mhm,
for their, like, story, I think.
mhm.
And then, of course, there might be some more stories
I
with
was about to say it looked like there's a little bit of a setup coming for another story. Yes,
Yeah, I would
Karen.
say so. Um, but that's good because he was pretty interesting. I'd
Mhm.
like to see him fleshed out and more three-dimensional. He wasn't not that he was flat, but he didn't have a real arc in this story
No,
because
he
it
was,
wasn't his story.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I think it would be great to read about Chris and Tony, which I feel like is coming.
Is the story, yes. Chris
Yeah,
is Caroline's sister, by the way, for
right.
who plays a big part, sisters, It's,
Yeah.
um,
And she's and like I said, the relationship between Chris and Ben is both a plus and a minus in this story for
mhm,
Caroline.
mhm.
It really creates some issues for her. She just can't quite wrap her mind around dating her best friend or her sister's
Sister's
best
best
friend
friend,
from
little
school,
sisters,
So
yeah,
yeah, little sister, because there's
little
a
sister.
few years between them. It's like
Mhm.
8 years
Eight,
or
I
something?
think,
So
yeah.
it's kind of an age gap. There's a little bit of an age gap, thing going on here. Um, yeah, so lots of really good stuff in this book. Lots of
Yeah.
stuff to praise and to enjoy. Um, you've got to really, really got to love the Pathways women, like we said. Also like the way that Ben uses his fame to pull in support for this group.
Mm,
We see a lot about how fame ruins people, and this
mhm.
is a way of this is a story that shows that it doesn't have to. I mean, it can be used in positive ways too.
Well,
So,
and Ben didn't want, he wanted to ignore cameras and stuff. He kind of, okay, NFL career over, leave me alone. I don't know what I'm doing next. And so for him to turn around.
well, yes, when he came into the story, he didn't want anything to do with publicity because of
Yes,
the negative. It was painful because he had just lost his dream, but I think there was some hints in the story that he was kind of a media bug like before that, like a spotlight. He really liked that.
he
He
craved
liked being
it. Yeah.
important and he liked the notoriety of being, a pro athlete. And I
Mhm,
think maybe he realized that it kind of went a little to his head too. And so
mhm.
when he decides to change and use this for good, it was a it was a show of character growth, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes. Yeah. No, good character arcs from beginning to end for
Mhm.
both Ben and Caroline, I think.
Yeah.
On this from beginning to the end, they're changed and they've grown, and it's a logical change and a logical growth to them. And Caroline's except I hope this isn't a spoiler, but Ben had
Yes.
feelings first. Caroline was like, no, this is, kid sister's friend, and you're too young for me, and
And
I've been heartbroken.
and her past really
I'm
was
a
a big
heartbroken.
thing, right? I mean, she
Right.
just used all those other things as excuses
Yeah.
because she was afraid, to get involved in another relationship. She'd already had 2 that failed, and she did
Mhm.
not want a 3rd. She was like, 3
Right.
strikes, you're out. She didn't want to take that chance.
Right.
So she was really in, protection mode, I
Mhm.
guess, through
Mhm.
most of the story,
Mhm.
um, which it was a fun, kind of switch up, a little bit to what sometimes we see where,
Yeah.
the girl's pursuing the guy, and this time the guy was definitely pursuing, and he was pursuing her
Yeah.
very honorably, but very much pursuing her, like,
Right.
taking,
With a lot of encouragement from his little sister Annabelle, who
Yeah, absolutely, and like you said, she really was fun,
yeah.
just a lovely addition to the story,
Mhm. So good,
so
good side character, good town again, like the setting of the town and how everyone worked together. So it was it's just a feel good story. It's a nice, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
if you need something it wasn't really that it didn't take that long to read.
Mhm.
It wasn't, like, super short, but it pulled you along really well. So if you're looking for something, this would be a good thing to take on vacation, take to the
Mhm.
beach, one of those kind of, traditional summer reading spots. I mean,
Yeah.
this would be a great story for that. It's gonna make you feel good. It's gonna give you, good, uh like a little like some it's gonna pull you along with some difficulties and things,
Mhm.
but the overall feel of the story is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's a very satisfying read.
yeah,
And
I would agree.
so this was the first time we read one of Karen's books, and I'm
Mhm.
delighted we did. And we're going to talk to her in a couple of weeks. So we can't wait to meet her and hear more about her and maybe what's coming next, because I think
Yeah,
we're intrigued with the characters that I would want to continue reading.
absolutely.
In
I'd
a
like to
series.
see if it connects to any of her other because I know she's written a lot of
Mhm.
series, and I think a lot of them have been set in Michigan somewhere, so it'd be interesting to see how it if or how she got this idea and if it came about because of something else she'd already written, so
So intriguing. So you'll have to join us next time when we talk to Karen here in a couple of weeks. But meanwhile, I think we can recommend Finally Forever as a great, just sweet contemporary romance, but has a little depth to it. I like the
Mhm.
characters and how they grow and the town.
Yeah,
So worth the read, worth your time. Pick it up today and join us next time when we talk to Karen Beery about this book and any others she might have coming up the pike. So thanks for joining us today. Please, we have a YouTube channel. We're on Spotify, iHeart, anywhere you listen to podcasts or our website at rebeccaandrebecca.com. But like us and keep an eye out for more
yeah,
videos and more conversations with authors.
subscribe so you don't miss anything.
That's right. All right. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.